Welcome back to the Stoop football fans. It's your boy Lolo. I'm back in the basement for another Friday night happy hour. Very good to see you all. Looking forward to Premier League tomorrow morning. We have a Stoop derby. Arsenal playing Wolves. Wolves, the big club beater, the distraught, the beaten down by VAR club that they are. I'm sure they're going to come out and play Arsenal at full force, and it's going to be a tough one for us tomorrow. But for now, it is Friday night, so we are going to crack one open. There you go.
What do you got? What do you got? I got a Corona.
Cheers, John.
Cheers. What do you have?
I've got a victory. Brotherly love. So, yeah.
It's from
Makes
Philadelphia.
sense. Brotherly love for me and
Throw
Mark,
it out.
and then victory for me.
Got
So what's going on, everybody? Good to see people in the house. McChronicle, good to see you. Jimmy Bremer's Ghost. Anders was in here first, I believe. Alexander Adam, good to see you as well. All right. We had Champions League this week. We had lots going on in the championship. And we have Premier League coming up with all sorts of stuff in between. So we have lots of good, fun stuff to talk about, especially if you're an Arsenal fan, because Arsenal are sitting at the top of the Premier League table, and they just topped their group in the Champions League for the first time back in the Champions League in far too long. We are doing it in a pretty decent fashion. All right. Big up to you, Rob Colton. Good to see you as well, my friend. Yeah. So, Jimmy saying, still cursing that he didn't put his money where his mouth is last week on Leeds winning 3-1 with Pirro and James to score. Well, we should have had that on Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom. Maybe would have taken that bet. I don't think Mark and I are able to do that. That being said, some other stuff in the news. Manchester City actually has a court date. And they're going to start this process of dealing with the 115 charges that Man City has been issued with. And they set the court date for like 50 years from now. No, they set it for next fall, I believe, next autumn. So at the beginning of next season, they're going to have their court case, which will drag on forever. And then the punishment will probably be in 2025. And the weird thing is Pep Guardiola's contract runs out in 2025. Coincidence?
What type of court system are they going through? It's not the legal system, or is it like the
it's the Premier League's legal system.
Oh, yeah, okay. They're going to pay a fine.
Yeah, that's why. Everton, no, we deal with that straight away. Man City, we'll get to you guys in a year or two. We'll make sure you guys have enough time to get rid of any good players, get the most money for them, and we'll deal with that afterwards. So crazy. I don't understand it. So maybe somebody can come on later and explain a little bit more to us about why Manchester City aren't going to have to deal with their charges for another year at least. So so there's that. And then midweek we had some VAR controversy with Newcastle United. Wah. I don't care. They got a cheeky, stupid handball penalty against them, and PSG drew level, and all they can talk about is how unfair it is and how VAR this and VAR that. And listen to me, this is where you got to be careful the amount of trash that you talk when another team is complaining about missed calls, blown calls, unfairness, unsportsmanlike, just calls going all towards another team. Look at Wolves, for example. But you got to be careful if you just come out and do like a lot of Newcastle fans did to the Arsenal fans when they got their goal that had 3 potential flaws to the goal and none of them were proven. And all they had to say to us was wah, keep crying. You lost 3 points. So I'm afraid all I have for Newcastle is wah. drop 2 points, still might not get out of your group. Wah, wah. Piss off. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. We'll get into that a little bit more. And then, of course, today, big Stoop Derby tomorrow morning. So I'll be bringing on Mark in just a second here, and we will talk Arsenal Wolves. And that second is now. So let's go ahead and bring Mark on here now that I've given us a little recap.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Happy Hour, where we are just so happy and looking forward to tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, Arsenal Wolves. I wish I could get excited for it. I really wish I could, but
what are you talking about? How could you not?
I am completely gun shy. I don't know what bullshit call is coming our way. I don't know what bullshit red card, yellow card is coming our way. I don't know. I want to be excited, and God damn it, VAR, I blame you, because in life, after a week of football, after a week of Champions League and championship and all the things, we don't talk about the game anymore. We talk about VAR, and we talk about the poor calls, and we talk about wah, 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 and we talk about suck it up. But we just don't talk about the things that are glorious about what they call the beautiful game. And it makes me angry.
You got a great point there, Mark. And so we have Arsenal Wolves who will be playing football, but let's not talk about the football, and let's talk about VAR. You convinced me, Mark. Let's not talk football. Everybody in the comments is running off on that VAR tangent. So let's start right there, Mark. Did you see the handball for PSG?
Yes, I did. And if it pleases the court, I would like to refer all interested to the case of Luton v. Wolves, where the ball came off the body and into the arm, which by the letter of the law states that is not a handball. And here's the kicker. I have no skin in the game between Newcastle and PSG. I kind of wish Newcastle, because Newcastle up until that point had played themselves to the peak of exhaustion and still was repelling the attacks, and they were playing very, very well. And it is unfortunate that the game ended that way. But you know, the kicker to that is when the announcers during VAR, and when the decision was made that it was going to be a handball, the announcer said, in the Premier League, they would never call that. And if I had hair, I would have pulled it out. It was ridiculous. Do you not watch football? Because it did happen for the Wolves against Luton. Yeah, and it came off his knee and into his arm, and letter of the law, that cannot be a handball. And yet,
and then the next day in the Arsenal match, a ball is whipped into the box, and Kai Havertz throws his arm up and blocks a ball that's going towards the keeper.
What happened in that game?
We're like, oh crap, that's clearly a handball. I mean, his hand is in an unnatural position. The ball is going towards the keeper. It's going towards goal. His hand blocks it. It falls on the ground. The keeper picks it up. Handball. They start reviewing it, and turns out it came off his leg. And they're like, no, it came off his leg. No handball. Move on. Let's go. And you could feel all the announcers and every pundit in the world just going, wait, what? Yesterday, that exact thing took 2 points away from Newcastle. And all I have to say is, wah, wah, wah. Wah, 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 wah. Like, Mark, okay, look, I know I'm being a little harsh just saying wah, 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 but Wolves fans, you guys have to take it somebody better call the ambulance. You guys have to take it every week. So I feel nobody has
Yeah.
any complaints that they can say
I mean,
with. If they don't mention Wolverhampton, then to me they're not legit. Then to me they're just bias.
What
But
kills me is that we're a good squad if you take out the officiating. The officiating has been absolutely terrible and has continued to rob us. I mean, just in Fulham's game alone, Tim Weah should have been red carded, or at least second yellow. Last man scoring opportunity. Was it Weah? No. It was
for who?
I thought it was Weah for Fulham. Deadly pause here.
Yeah,
I thought it was Weah. Maybe it's not. Anyway,
I don't know.
Someone correct me out there if they know like who the back four is for Fulham and who may have
Tim Ream.
I was like, not Tim Weah. Tim Ream.
No,
I don't know. Ream, Weah, 4 letters. You know
American.
me. I don't know. Fuck all. So there was that. There's the headbutt that was not called, and it was deemed to be not violent.
Yeah, because the headbutt. I'm sorry, you stand up and you put your head
because he didn't react.
Yeah,
we got a red card this season because of that. For less, it wasn't even a butt like it was with this guy where he just kind of leaned forward and put his head to him.
Yeah,
it just. I'm having a rough time this season enjoying the game because it just constantly just builds and builds and builds and builds. And I bitched about this last season where we were just like, these calls are ridiculous. I've been dealing with this all day. I've been struggling with this, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to be positive. I'm going to find good things to say about the Wolves, and I can say this: we're a good team. We play when we're allowed to play. We play teams very, very strong, very, very well. But as the season has progressed, they've just found more and more ways to get at us. We beat City, but you know what that cost us? 6 yellow cards. That's a lot. That is a lot of yellows for a team to get in a sitting. Bournemouth, the same way. Bournemouth came out 1-0. We ended up beating them 2-1. 6 yellow cards in that one. That puts 6 players on 2 in just 2 games, and 5 is a suspension.
Yeah, and you guys
and people talk about, they're talking about it's like, oh, you've been hard done by the penalties. No, we're being hard done by the yellows. Because against Fulham, we had 2 starters go out with that can't play in the Arsenal match because they have 5 yellows. That just went out last week. It becomes ridiculous, and I just don't know.
Yeah,
anymore.
I know us Arsenal fans were watching that match against Fulham, just like watching Wolves players get knocked out of the Arsenal match left and right. So it was good for us to watch, but gotta be so frustrating as a Wolves fan because you guys are actually playing really strong football. And that match ended 3-2 to Fulham. I felt that match did not deserve a winner. That match deserved to be a draw. The same way that I felt the match against Manchester United at the beginning of the season deserved to be a draw. But that's football, and you don't get what you deserve. Speaking of getting what you deserve, Mark, I want you to explain to me, Mark, what is this? A lot of people have been mentioning in the comments section, and we've been hearing a lot on Twitter, X, whatever, and all over the football sphere. What is this sin bin idea that everybody's talking about? I know the sin bin in hockey. Talk to me. What's the sin bin that they're talking about here?
My understanding is that, and it could be kind of related to the fact that here we are in week 13 and Wolves have had I think 4 or 5 players suspended on the 5+ yellow or the 5 yellows. And what I think it is that they're finding that it's like, you know what, we're handing out too many yellows with this new unsportsmanlike, time wasting a rule where it's like, you waste time, you're getting the yellow. You kick a ball away after the whistle, you're getting a yellow. We've seen it in so many different matches. And I think what they're doing is they want to introduce the idea that they have in hockey of the sin bin. For me, we've talked about it on the show. We actually have loved the idea of a sin bin. The idea being is that it is going to be that it'll be a 10-minute penalty. I think that's a little harsh. I think 10 minutes is a little harsh. I would like to see maybe 5. I think 5 is fair. 10 seems to give like too much of an advantage. But I do think it's a good idea as long as it's fairly enforced. The idea that, if you've done something that doesn't quite merit, that what might be that second yellow, because you've wasted some time, definitely. I don't know, man. I like the idea.
If the refs make a lousy call, can they be put in the sin bin?
Well, or what happens when, like, say, a Jordan Pickford is time wasting, and instead of giving him a yellow, do they send him to the sin bin?
Send the keeper, yeah.
Yeah, that's
now.
Something.
What's the rule? Like in hockey, if you get a penalty, you're in there for 2 minutes. But if the other team scores, you come out. So what happens here with the 10 minutes?
That's where, like, this whole idea of the sin bin is just like, it's just somebody throwing out noise. I wouldn't be surprised if Todd Bowley was responsible for starting that rumor. It sounds like a very American thing. And it's something that would completely change the game completely. And McChronicle's absolutely right about it, where he said the problem is refs want to be part of the show in England, and they'll just start abusing it. And yeah, even if they're not fully abusing it, it can be abused. And then we need to say, okay, well, when does VAR ever get to check this in bin? Blah, 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 blah. It's just, and that whole thing. Okay, what if your keeper gets put in? What if your keeper gets pulled out? Are you allowed to send in a new keeper? Is somebody allowed to go and goal? There's just too many things that change the game for this. It's a stupid idea. Scooby D2 says, don't mean to be rude, but you can't start changing rules like that. What's next? Quarters in 3-pointers. Come on. And yet we started with, they don't enforce the rules fairly. So your solution is to create another stupid rule. I'm right there with you, Scooby D2. I think this is a dumb idea.
But haven't they done that with yellow cards for time wasting?
What do you mean?
They're already tacking extra time on for time wasting.
But that's not a change. That's a change in rule.
What do you mean? They just reinstated.
That's always been
the first season. It's the first season.
No,
they've been handing
they're
out
going
yellow
harder
cards.
at it. They're going harder.
Or for, let's say they're going harder at dissent.
Yeah.
So now you're not allowed to, you used to be, able to charge up to the referee and plead your case and get in his ear. Can't do that anymore. Isn't that changing the rule?
You weren't ever supposed to be able to do that. That's the thing is,
okay. So now it's doing, it's going from an empty rule to an enforced rule. That's still changing a rule. That's still changing the.
No, it's not changing the rule. It's telling them, hey, you need to fucking enforce this rule. You need to do that. You need to mind the clock and actually put the time back on the clock in stoppage time that has been actually wasted. So now they're having to make those decisions about what's actually being wasted and what's just normal run of play. Is the guy actually looking for somebody to throw the ball to, or is he standing there with antics? And then it even gets weird where, like, Tomiyasu was yellow carded on a night where he got sent off for another yellow card later, but he was yellow carded when he wasn't even the one time wasting. It was all of his teammates time wasting, and then they go, "Oh, no, never mind. I'm not going to throw it in. Tommy, you come throw it in." Tommy comes and grabs the ball, and there's nobody open. Boom, he gets a yellow card, and he's like, "Wait, I just got the ball." So it was his teammates' fault for throwing him under the bus, and then that led to a red card afterwards. So the problem is, let me see. I'm trying to go back to look. What I'd love to see is refs being strong and giving cards for descent and diving. That's one of them. Here we go. Jimmy had this. Respect the ref ended when the ref's decision is final was replaced by VAR. So that's one of my big issues with VAR right now. And we said it, I think, last Friday or the Friday before on Happy Hour. And it was, to me, when we took the refs' balls away, when we gave them cover, when we gave them protection to not go with their initial instinct, we're taking a lot of these instincts away from these guys. So, for example, again, in the Newcastle one, where there's 3 possible, roll your eyes all you want, but that's an example.
My goodness Christ.
Mark, find another example where there's 3 issues with the play. I'll use it.
Nope, you go right ahead. You go right ahead and beat that dog to death.
So this is you wonder why I don't listen to anything that you have to say about VAR, because you haven't even listened to my point, and my point isn't about Arsenal being right and Newcastle being wrong, because we had nothing to do with it. It's the referees. To me, if there's 3 possible things that have to be checked, that means if there was no VAR and the referee had their full balls in their uniform, one of those things would have probably made him go, no goal, that was a foul, and then let's recheck it, and then let's see. But right now they have, oh, that might have, but I'm not going to stop the play. Oh, that might have been offside, but I'm not going to raise the flag. Oh, that ball might have gone out of bounds, but I'm not going to raise the flag. We'll see afterwards. So the 2 on-field referees lost their balls knowing that they will be covered by VAR, and then VAR says it's inconclusive, not clear and obvious. So that's my issue with those sorts of decisions. Is the referee doesn't have the balls to call it on the field because he knows he has cover.
No,
yet the cover is saying
I disagree here because because all score really what the issue or the problem is in this particular case is that all goals are subject to review.
Yeah.
That is the case in this particular situation. It's just because the goal the goal was scored and then they have to look at it. Now, the issue that I have with VAR is that they.
But hold on, don't move on from that point, because that.
I'm sticking to the point.
Keep that in your head.
I'm sticking to the point. The problem is that, when anytime anything goes to VAR, it is just, it's looked at in so many different angles, in so many different ways, in so many different speeds, that if you are looking for something or not looking for something, you cannot, or you can find it or not find it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in the case of for me in the example that you bring up, the one that was most egregious to me was not the push in the back, not the offsides, but I truly felt that ball was out of bounds. Now we know from the World Cup in the match with Japan that what you see on the field and what is actually there can be 2 different things. That was something that was just like, don't you have multiple angles to look at where that ball was?
No, which is a stupid situation that they don't have cameras pointing down the line, which blows my mind.
I think eventually they will, but it's just like, you can look at things with VAR and you can dissect it and you can and with today's technology, you can rotate it 360 up and down. And
No, you can't not unless you have all the cameras. You cannot
Okay.
unless you have enough cameras.
But truly
Mark,
you
so
can. You
what
can
you're
look
saying,
at it from a lot of different angles.
Yeah,
what
like
I'm
when they
saying
shoot
is that
NFL,
if VAR
they're
wants,
shooting
if
it with
VAR
enough
wants
cameras.
to find it,
Yeah.
they will find it.
Yeah. So, Mark, what you're saying is the most egregious thing that you thought happened live, at least, was the ball going out of bounds.
Yes.
So let me ask you, as the linesman, if you were there and you're like, fuck, I think that went out. 10 years ago, you're putting your flag up.
But
right?
they didn't.
If you're the linesman.
They didn't
if you're the
put
linesman.
the flag up. But they didn't. The flag
And
never went up.
Why didn't they? Why didn't they?
Because they thought he was on sides.
No. The ball out of bounds. Ball out of bounds.
I don't know.
So,
that I don't know.
All I'm saying is the referee decided not to make a call because he knew he had cover. He knew if something happens and the goal goes in.
He saw it go. That's assuming he saw it.
What the fuck are you talking about? Why? What?
Did the referee see that the ball went out of bounds?
I'm saying
he obviously didn't, because they didn't call it on the pitch.
The problem with that is, here's the goal. He's over here, and the ball went out over here on the other side of the goal. There's no linesman on that side. So he's going, I can't tell. I'm sure I'll get covered by VAR. It's better just to let the play go. Like they tell them, if you are not 100% that he's offside, keep the flag down. Right?
That's massive speculation there. That is massive speculation to say that a referee on the pitch is saying, well, I don't have to make the right call because VAR has got my back.
They're told that,
No.
They're told that. They're told that. Do not raise the flag. Do not raise the flag unless you are 1,000% sure.
If that is truth, if they are told VAR's got your back, then that is one of many things wrong.
Mark, what do you mean if?
I don't know. Okay? I don't know that they're told that. The only way I know that they're told that is by you telling me. That's the only way I know.
During the games, they even say, well, they're told to keep the flag down until the play is commenced. And then they're like 15 seconds later, oh, you know what? He was offside. Because if a goal happens, they want to be able to go back to VAR and make sure. And so they lean on VAR. They're leaning on VAR, and with every match that they do with VAR and every season that goes by, the referees are losing more and more of their own balls to make a call because they feel that they'll be covered. So when something crazy happens in the box, they're going to let it play. They're just going to let it play. When crazy shit is happening in the box, they're not going to blow the whistle unless something egregious in their face happens. They're not going to blow the whistle on a potential handball, potential offside, potential this. Let's see where it goes. Okay, the goal scored. Awesome. Let's review that and figure out what the hell just happened. As opposed to 10 years ago going, fuck this, stop. No, you're kicking, you're punching, you touch the ball, you're offside. No. Drop ball. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they're
for sure.
leaning on
for
it.
sure. I want to move on just slightly, and then yes, we're staying on VAR, everyone. But I want to ask this whole and this happened during the Wolves, and I don't want to keep using Wolves as an excuse because there's just so many maddening examples here, but. In the Wolves game, with the first penalty, the penalty is called.
Wait, am I allowed to roll my eyes and sit back?
No. You may. But I'm going in a far different direction here. The first there were two penalties in the Fulham match. The first one was a whistle on the pitch. And it went to VAR, for a significant amount of time. How long, I'm not really sure. Our good friend Gary, who can't be here tonight because he's in Boston.
Oof.
Boston. He's in Boston.
He's at a cab.
He chatted. He on our chat. He said that I don't know exactly, but what he had said is let the on the pitch ref do his fucking job and say, look, we're sticking with your decision. Fine. The second penalty happens, and there is no whistle on the pitch. Play continues for about 2 minutes, but then VAR gets in his ear and says, well, you missed something there. Is one of the things in using this as an example, is this where VAR is kind of doing the game wrong, where they are taking the balls away from the official? Should VAR be able to jump in and go, you missed one there, and we can slow it down to this microsecond and find what happened? Meanwhile, the referee's like, yeah, I didn't see that, and I did see it, and I felt it wasn't enough, and play can continue.
Yeah, Mark.
My question is why is it that VAR can blow the whistle when the on-field or the on-pitch official doesn't? That's my question here.
Mark, it's the answer to that question is, well, the PGMOL GBTQ, whatever they're called, they would say the VAR officials are able to stop play and review an incident that was a clear and obvious error, or that was missed by the referee, that is either dangerous or a red card offense, or dangerous, or I think only red card offenses are they able to go back, red card and penalty decisions that were just clearly and obviously missed. So that's why the elbow to the head of Jorginho wasn't actually stopped and brought the referee into it, but VAR did actually look at it. They said, we can't recommend that he missed something crazy. Had the referee seen it and thrown a red card, we would have confirmed with him that, yeah, it's not a clear and obvious mistake. Like, if you think it's a red card, it's a red card. But it wasn't in the box. It wasn't so clear and obvious that it was a malicious, dangerous thing that he did. So they didn't stop it. Going on to your game, it's a penalty that they feel the referee missed completely. So they're going to do a lot of the review of it while the game is going on and then go back to it. But the question is, why aren't they doing that with, like, why do they choose one situation where they're like, okay, there's this, and yes, the second one was a penalty.
Then
it was.
As far as I'm concerned, if that's the case, let's just put a bunch of cameras above the pitch and take the on pitch referee out, and just let people in a booth decide the match, because that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing in the yes, Mr. Pink Cushion. There are many variations. And I'm sure a lot of those variations will go for Arsenal tomorrow at 10 p.m.
Excuse me.
You heard me. You heard me.
We are not getting the calls this season, and especially after Mikel has done that.
Bullshit.
What call have we gotten?
Bullshit.
What call have we gotten? What call have we gotten?
You have gotten 6 penalties called for you. More than anyone
all
in the
penalties.
League.
And they were all penalties.
More than anyone in the league.
What does that matter?
No. Don't look at your badge and be like, well, we deserved them. No, the fact Arsenal has benefited from the most awarded penalties in the league. Flat out. they have been only offered one penalty against, the least in the entire league. So for you to sit there and say that the calls aren't going your way is bullshit.
Mark,
Arsenal is the
which
least
one of those penalties?
Yellow-carded team.
Which one of those penalties, Mark? Which one of those penalties was not a penalty?
I cannot say for certain, my friend, but I can certainly list a number of penalties that went that didn't go Wolves' way. That didn't
this
go
has nothing
other
to do with
teams'
Wolves.
way.
You're talking Arsenal.
And
you're talking Arsenal.
Mark, we're so persecuted by the officials. No, you're not. Because the stats
we've had 2 apologies already. We've had 2 apologies already this.
Oh my God,
Mark, a penalty is not a stat. A penalty is not a VAR
penalty
leaning your way
not
stat.
A stat.
Mark, which one
you
of those?
High. Go to
one of those penalties
and look and see. Penalties awarded is a stat.
Mark, it's not a stat that's relevant to the conversation when you say the calls are not going our way when they have nothing to do with a VAR
you said
decision.
That you've been hard pressed by the officials.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. You have benefited from the officials more than anyone in the league.
That's where you're completely wrong. Using the stat line of you've had more penalties
you've been awarded 6 penalties.
Mark, we've been awarded because we got fucking 3 in the Bournemouth game that were all like, we were turning around looking at the Bournemouth players like, dude, guys, stop fucking, what are you guys doing? And that to me is not VAR, the referees awarding Arsenal a penalty. That's this fucking stupid defender just dove into my leg, nowhere near the ball. So show me one of our penalties that we were awarded this season.
You got cannons for eyes, dude. You got cannons for eyes.
Mark,
seriously.
How can you not hear the difference of what I'm saying? If you want to mention being awarded penalties, you can start looking at teams like Manchester City, where there's nothing that happens, nobody's complaining, and they bring it back from 2 minutes, and VAR looks at it forever, and then the ref goes over and they go, oh yeah, there was a little something, here you go, penalty. That is being awarded a penalty.
I honestly believe that you have benefited in the same way. And you have.
You can honestly believe that, but then that makes you a moron because you haven't been fucking watching.
I watch more football than you, my friend.
No.
I watch way more football than you.
Nope.
And to say, you know what? I'm gonna drop this because this is going absolutely nowhere. This is going absolutely nowhere.
Mark,
the
where it's going
Arsenal
is you need to
concede because of one fucking match where you guys are like, oh, they didn't deserve to score. It wasn't. We didn't lose. We lost because of that. We didn't lose because we played one of the better defensive teams in the league, and our guys couldn't do fuck all against them. But that didn't go our way. They hate us because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
No, Mark, that is not what I'm doing. This is what's so infuriating about you right now is you're not hearing, you're hearing when you're equating things that aren't equivocable, and you're using stats to prove a point that doesn't prove your point, yet you're not willing to hear anything to the contrary. So you're telling me that the amount of penalties that Arsenal has had for them and against them, and the amount of yellow cards and red cards for them against them is totally, it's the referees being on our side.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying what I am saying is that I find it very hard to believe that Arsenal fans feel themselves hard done by officiating when the calls go Arsenal's way. That's what I'm saying.
But Mark, you can't. This is where I'm getting so fucking angry. Saying a call went our way when it was just a call and it was the right call, doesn't mean a call went our way. A call goes your way when it's a 50-50 decision and it goes your way. To me, Newcastle, that call went their way. You know why? Because the answer from the officials and from the PGM, whatever, said there was no conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the field. In all three of those situations, the foul, the offside, and the ball out of bounds, there is not substantial evidence to overturn it. That to me sounds like everyone was unsure, but there's no evidence against what they said. So that's where I would say the call went Newcastle's way. Do I think it's corruption? No. I think the call went their way. I don't think it should have, and I can be as mad as I want, but that's a situation where the call went their way. Odegaard being fouled in the box by Bournemouth for the third time in a match, that's not a call going our way. That's just another fucking penalty. Like, that's not. And you want to talk about yellow cards, yet when Arteta's teams were getting red carded, you were quick to be like, Arteta has no control over his team. Why not give Arteta praise for, look at what you've done with your team? You have the fewest yellow cards in the league. Your main center back who has played every single minute. You didn't credit Arteta. You didn't credit Arteta.
Said that. I have said that.
You have not.
No, I definitely. I said that in the ass end of last season, and I've said it this season. You know, you guys have fixed that problem. Roll tape.
Mark,
I don't know
now.
I know I've said
right now. You used fewest yellow cards in your excuse. In your reasoning.
You say, as much as you think I'm not listening to you, I feel you're not listening to me. How can you feel hard done by officiating when officiating has affected you the least out of everyone in the league?
Okay. First of all,
and yet you're like, "Whoa, we don't get the calls." Well, obviously you are, because you're not. You know, they're. You know, you've been awarded penalties, and now I understand you're saying that. Well, you know, we've deserved all of those. Of course you would. Would you say that you don't deserve them?
I think I think there. I don't know. I was looking up something else while we were talking about that, but yeah. So let me see. I was looking up the VAR decisions. Oh, this one doesn't tell me all of that. But yeah, I would not say that Arsenal have the least. We are the least affected by VAR decisions, considering we are constantly in the news for our manager being in trouble with VAR because he speaks his mind. I will say that Wolves are probably the most, yet they don't get the credit for that. I think Liverpool, things have been going against them, leaning against them this season. I think Man City, they've been leaning far in favor of. It's tough, but I'm not trying to go on and say that there is a vendetta. There is crazy amount of bias leading to cheating and all of that. I think the referees are poor. Is my big thing. The referees are poor, and I think Wolves get on the negative end of it more often. And it's when they're playing a bigger club that happens. And that is a bias. That is I'd rather, no, it was probably just this guy. I don't know his name, as opposed to, oh, that's Erling Haaland. Oh, that's William Saliba, you know, things like that. So I fucking, yeah. So that's enough VAR for me today. And I can't wait until tomorrow when you get a penalty that you don't fucking deserve and you guys skyrocket it over the bar.
That's so
That-
not going to
I can't
happen.
wait.
That is so not going to happen. Let me tell you what will happen. A penalty will be given to Arsenal with Jesus falling down in the box. That will happen. That's my prediction. Second prediction, I'm going to give a red card to Totti, one of our defensive backs. And then finally, if Ryan Aitniori plays, he will be given a yellow card, giving him 5, suspending him for next week. That's what's happening.
Okay. I'll give you $20 if Jesus dives in the box.
Oh Jesus! Now that's subjective. That
No,
is
it's
totally
not. If he
subjective.
gets called for a dive in the box.
Oh, so he has to. So someone has to say that's a dive. Which no, a whistle. There's a dive. No, he's gonna fucking dive, and there's gonna be a penalty awarded.
If there is no foul on Jesus, if there's no foul on Jesus,
make the bet this a penalty call. That's the call.
Yeah. A penalty. Well, no, because if it's a correct penalty, I'm not giving you fucking $20 for a correct penalty call.
No. I'm predicting there will be a penalty awarded to Arsenal tomorrow. Predicting it.
Yeah, but you're saying awarded like we don't deserve it.
I didn't say that.
You did say he's going to dive.
So every penalty that has been given against Wolves has been deserved? I don't think so.
No, I don't know. You haven't had
against
you guys.
Against
you guys.
It's just what's going to happen. It's just what's going to happen. We get it's going to happen. Arsenal will be awarded a penalty, deserved or not. It's still going to happen.
But see,
and I'm going to say a Wolves player is going to get a red card, and that'll be Totti. It will not be on the same play as the penalty awarded to Arsenal. And like I said, if Ryan Aitniori plays, he will be given a yellow card. That's my prediction for tomorrow.
I don't like
tomorrow's
this shade
match.
Of you, Mark. I don't like this salty shade of you, Mark. You're salty pre-match.
This is what the
You're
league
salty
has done
24
to me.
hours.
Do I not have a reason? Should I list the reasons? Man United, Luton, Newcastle, Sheffield, Fulham, City, we beat them 6 yellow cards. Bournemouth, we beat them 6 yellow cards.
Take note to your verbiage here. You keep saying you will be awarded, but they've been given against us. You see,
so,
this is what I don't like about
you're going to be white.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm concerned with the way you're saying Arsenal will be given a penalty. Arsenal will be given a penalty. But what if
Arsenal
the dude
will be awarded
plows into
a penalty?
like what if it's what?
Has that happened? Look, we've had 5 penalties against us, and we have not plowed into anybody.
Were they penalties? Were they penalties?
I can go through my fucking text and know where you have said that's not a penalty.
I know.
So I'm going with that and saying, you know what? They just award penalties against us. And Arsenal tomorrow will be awarded a penalty. You watch. We pride ourselves in predicting the outcome of these matches. This is my prediction. Arsenal will be awarded a penalty against Wolves.
Who usually makes those predictions?
If that wasn't the most subtlest hint in the world, I don't know what was.
I've been signaling him for the last 20 minutes. He's not paying.
I know, but we're in the middle of something. So,
should we bring in a third and see what
we're about to go to halftime. So,
just bring him on. Hey, there he is.
What's up, Tom?
Paul? Is that Paul Bearer in the cup?
No, that's the announcer.
Oh, that's Mean Gene.
Mean Gene.
I did not know he had a action figure.
He's only part of all your impersonations, Mark.
I wish I could imitate Mean Gene Okerlund. He was one of the good ones. Anyway, Tom, what do you make of all this nonsense?
Found it quite interesting. As usual, the Stoop derby doesn't disappoint. Always a bit feisty on the Friday night. Does he? He might have been talking about Finger the Duck, the true godfather of the show. Anyway, so yeah, how is everyone?
We're all right, Tom. How are
good.
you?
We're good.
My boy Rob Colton is in the chat. Anyway, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's always interesting. I can understand. I was upset on behalf of you, Mark. I didn't tell you, but I may have had a wager on the Wolves to not lose on Monday night, along with Girona to not lose on Monday night.
I did as well.
And yeah, so the Premier League didn't appreciate my wager, and they said, "Fuck your money, Tom." And
no, they did appreciate your wager because they got your money.
Right.
I'd like to make a correction. The Premier League appreciated my wager. They didn't appreciate that I was possibly going to win that wager. And then they made sure I did not win that way. Oh, that feels kind of good. The fun of correctness. Yeah, thank you, Director John. So yeah, that was a thing that happened. I know there were some Champions League matches during midweek. I still want. That's exactly what they said, Chris. The performance from the Manchester United goalkeeper was something I think it should be highlighted. If anyone had the misfortune of watching those two teams play on Wednesday.
I did not watch either match.
Great game.
Yeah, I mean, if you like goals.
Yeah.
I watched the Real Napoli match. That was the one that I paid attention to.
Well, yeah. So that
Real Monopoly?
Real Monopoly, yes.
And nobody watched the 6-0 win from Arsenal, scoring a bunch of goals in like 14 minutes. 4 goals in 14 minutes.
Against who? Who?
Against
Who'd they play?
Lens.
They're a good team. Never heard
a team
of them.
that beat us last time. So yeah,
it's because you were sleeping at the wheel.
They're in the
Champions. A bit boring, to be honest.
They're in the Champions League, so there's that. The game was a bit boring.
Where are they? Where are they from?
France.
What league do they play in?
France. Ligue 1.
Are they good?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good league? I don't know.
No, Lens is a okay team, but they beat us at their home, their home stadium. They have like 3,500 people in the town of Lens, and their stadium seats like 5,000, 10,000 or something like that. So
where'd you learn to speak French? How did you?
In France. I was in Paris.
Oh, you were in Paris.
Yeah.
Well, la di da, mister.
It's pronounced le dide. Thank you very much. I learned that in Paris.
No, en français.
Can I just answer a question from Mr. John Garside, who he says, Mr. Tom, I got 17-1, Leeds 3-1, Pirro to score any time. What can you get? Well, right now I'm looking at that bet for 19.8-1. So yeah, that's roughly the going rate
Leeds
for that.
To win 17-1?
No. He got 17-1 for Leeds to win 3-1 with Pirro to score at any time.
I'm joking. It's all too serious these days. It's all very serious now. All right. Well, we were supposed to talk about the we're supposed to do the Arsenal Wolves preview, but I guess we're gonna have to leave that till after halftime. So Mark talked too much about his stupid shit.
You can get 200 to 1 on 11-0.
Tom is just
it.
talking to
stabbing at me.
No, it cuts off at
my
11-0.
shirt is red with blood. The blood
Jesus
of
fucking Christ. Your blood is your shirt is stained with the blood of hubris.
Oh my god, I haven't even said we're top of the league yet.
the most unimpressive top of the league, by the way.
You speaking from experience?
No, I'm just speaking from what I've been watching over the past few years.
Dude, I am ecstatic to be top of the league like
Absolutely.
this.
And
because
honestly, I
every
don't
year
know
we
how.
say it. Manchester City are terrible. Manchester City are terrible in the beginning of the season, and they're always right there. And you're like, oh, how are they on top? They haven't even gotten good yet. I finally feel that way about Arsenal. I'm like, we haven't even gotten good yet. I know it's coming, but somehow we're sitting on top of the table. So things are working out.
I think one of the things that I will say about Arsenal this season, and it does come with the extra matches that you're playing, is that you are being very smart about it. You know, the squad is being very smart, because like last season, every single match was impressive by Arsenal. This season, not so much, but you know, you're still getting the results. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, hey guys, we got these extra matches we need to concern ourselves with. Let's not go balls out. We know we can get it. Let's just do it that way. Where last season you didn't have the extra matches. You went balls out and you lost steam at the end.
Yeah, and we also came out of nowhere. So teams weren't expecting it at the beginning of the season.
At the end of they weren't expecting it last year.
At the beginning of the season,
the year before, y'all shit top 4 away.
Top 4
last season.
So that's what they were expecting. Top 4.
The season before.
Yeah.
You guys should have gotten top 4 2 years ago, and you shit the bed. This year, you should have won the league, and you shit the bed. This year, the difference being is that Arsenal is going, you know what? We can get it, but we don't have to wear ourselves out to get it. That's what I'm seeing this year. We don't have to go balls out, and you know, because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, and Arteta's focus is less about getting the attack going, because we know the attack is there and it's always a threat. So his focus has been on defending and constantly not creating options for people. Right. And we have one of the best defenses in the league. So yes, it leads to boring football. You can make whatever face you want, but
I've
had
never
to slow
been
myself down from saying
I've
the
never
best
been a
defense
fan
in the
of
league.
people saying we're the best, you know, because you're only as good.
That's why I said we're one of. We're one of the best defensive, and I'm sorry, no, that you're only as good as your last game. That does not ring true when you're talking about a season. Maybe it rings true when you're in the knockout stages of a tournament, but if you're looking at defenses and offenses, who has the best defense, the best offense in the league for the season, your last game doesn't matter. It matters a little bit, but your last game, it's about the body of work for this season. And when you're looking at like big chances against Arsenal, we're up there at the top of the fewest given away. We have a number of clean sheets. Yeah, I think we've only given up like 9 goals or something like that. 9 or 10, 13, I think it is.
It is 10.
Is it 9, 10, or 13?
10.
It's 10.
13 is Man City. So, you know, like we've given up the fewest goals in the league. That would tell me we have one of the best defenses in the league. And that's what killed us last year, was giving up 2 goals to shitty teams all the time. And yeah. So anyway, Tom, what's going on?
I think
You're here.
Arsenal are one of the best teams I've ever seen that has a large portion of the fan base that hates the team.
It's weird, right? What do you mean by hates the team?
Like, obviously, in any fan base, you're going to get everyone in football is entitled to their opinion, and no matter what happens, you can't please everybody. But I do tend to notice this trend more with Arsenal when the team's doing well than other teams when they're doing well.
As in?
People are complaining about Leeds a lot less, considering we're winning most weeks. I know there are levels to this, if anyone says that. But, for example, I was very vocal about Leeds not doing well when they weren't doing well. Whereas we are doing quite well. Could do better, but we are doing well. And I like to think my opinion reflects that, the effort that's being put in. But Arsenal are literally top of the league. And there are people that weren't celebrating the last-minute goal because of who scored it. I find that really strange.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying about the shitty Arsenal fan base where, like, even when we're winning, there's fans that love to find things to hate on. And I feel like you guys went through that. I saw an ugly side to Leeds United fans when during the final days of Bielsa, when it became such a heated topic of Bielsa in, Bielsa out sort of a thing. Yep. And where if you won a game or if you guys played well, you won a game, they'd be hating on Bielsa or like mad that you won because they wanted Bielsa out, or especially more with Marsh. If anything Marsh would do well, they hated it because they knew he needs to go, and they knew. So I feel like that little glimpse into that lead subculture is what we're seeing all the time with Arsenal fans. McChronicle says it's about Lee Gunner, by the way, who said when he came, he'd never celebrate a Havertz goal ever. He's still my friend, and it's his right to do so. Fairs. I get that. I get that. There was a clip of Lee Gunner when Kai Havertz scored the winner for Brentford, where he says he's never going to celebrate a goal that Havertz scores. That's fine. Say that all you want. But
he
for
wasn't
me,
the only one.
As an Arsenal fan, I'm sorry, we're about to draw with Brentford in a hard-fought Brentford at home, where we could have actually given up a couple of goals if not for defensive side goal line clearances. And we scored that late goal. I would have been cheering my ass off.
Yeah.
Period. And then gone, fuck you, Kai Havertz. I still hate you, but we won.
It doesn't matter if
I don't know how you
if
cannot
Gunnar
celebrate
Soros scored that goal. You still got to cheer that on because as Lolo said, that was a very, very hard fought a match and a really lovely goal by Havertz. I'm going to be the first to say that I've never been a fan of Havertz coming to Arsenal. I never understood why he didn't get it. They put him in the starting lineup and he just wasn't getting it. He looked lost out there. But I love Havertz off the bench. And, it just allows him, and the way that he's being played. Havertz just kind of roams around in those last 15 minutes, and he gets himself in. He's gotten himself in a couple of good positions on Wednesday, and on the weekend, and it's like maybe the time has come, that he's starting to get it.
Yeah,
I feel that when there's a pause after I talk, I feel like there's a delay.
No. No, I wasn't sure if you were going to continue talking or if Tom was going to jump in, but yeah, Havertz is a tough thing, but it's another thing where like people who hate Arteta and have always wanted Arteta out will never like Havertz. You cannot like Havertz for a number of reasons. I hated him at Chelsea. I was happy every time he started for Chelsea because I didn't like him. I still don't really care for him too much. But you can tell how much Mikel Arteta is forcing this and needs this to work. And it's because he sees something in him. And I just have to sit back and rely on the fact that my gaffer knows more about football and football brains and football bodies and football potential than I do. He's got more information than I do. I'm going solely based on a Saturday, Sunday morning opinion from my couch 1,000 miles away. So as much as I dislike Havertz, the fact that Arteta is going out of his way to get him to do anything he can, he must see one of the best players in the world in there somewhere. And I got to look back and go, look, he got us Odegaard. When Odegaard was bouncing around, nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's very evident in the way that like Arteta treats Havertz at the end of the game. Like at the end of the Brentford game,
add an L to his name.
I don't give a fuck.
I know. I love that you call him Havertz.
I really don't.
And I think it's in your head because you want to cut him in half.
No, I don't. I really don't. I really just, I'm lazy and I habits.
No. Keep doing it. Because to me, every time I see it, honestly, I see him cut in half.
I just don't give a shit.
Havertz.
I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And it's just, that's how it's going to be. But it shows, based on just, I think like there's a part of Arteta that wants that experiment to work so well that when it does, it's like when he scores that goal and it's the end of the match and they're all coming out on the field, Arteta grabs Havertz and walks him to the Arsenal, side of the field, and he's just pointing at him, going, "This guy won it for us. This guy won it for us." I have to say that, and I know I say that a lot. I have to say, a couple of seasons ago, there was like some turmoil in that Arsenal locker room about who said something about what went on at a meeting and what went on the pitch, and there was a fight and something happened, and they went to the media and Arteta was like, "I'm gonna find out who," and that didn't do a lot for like the camaraderie of the locker room. But what he's doing with Havertz is completely like different. It's like okay, yeah, y'all are showing like there's a cohesiveness to the team that is kind of cool to see that I haven't seen the last couple of seasons. Even like, I mean, like we all know that like Ramsdale's never going to play for Arsenal again. Even you said it. You were like, yeah, he knew. And we know. I mean, rumor has him going to Wolves. Rumor has Ramsdale going to Wolves. I mean, that's the lone rumor. I don't see it happening. I don't know if I want him. I think he's kind of damaged goods at this point. But at the end of the match, they were still like, "Hey, you're still Brotherton. We love you, man. We love you." And what I had dismissed in the past as bravado and kind of shithousing is kind of like, I think I get it. This season, I'm getting it as much as also in the same note that I think that Arsenal is getting it. These guys are growing up.
Well, think about it, Mark. It's like when he first came in, it's like going into a classroom and being like, "Look, I got all these great ideas. All you people right now in this class, eventually we're going to do incredible things together." And you have the kid in the back of the class smoking, going, "This is stupid. Look at this guy's hair." And which has this guy next to him go, Oh yeah, right? Yeah, he is dumb, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna sit in my chair backwards too. And there's this stickiness of like, oh, what the? I can't get anything going because I have these bad apples in here. So he's been getting rid of people and flushing people out, and we're like, how come this person couldn't stay? How come this person stayed? Why does Nketiah stay and Maitland-Niles goes? Why is Pepe pushed out when and a guy like Trossard is brought in when there's similar-ish style players, and then you realize, oh, because he needs everyone on board. It's not about what they do on the pitch. It's about their it is about what they do on the pitch, but it's about their attitudes in the locker room. And so when he puts an arm around Havertz and he bigs him up, the team decides that he deserves that penalty, that extra penalty. And it's not out of resentment or anything like that. It's because they believe in what their manager is doing. And they're like, look, we're going to give the new kid a chance. As opposed to, fuck off, new kid, go back over there. I need my 4th goal to go down in Arsenal history, which Eddie completely could have done. So it is very interesting. However, the hugs on Ramsdale at the end of the match they weren't the smiles and tears of someone who just got their latest clean sheet in an Arsenal kit. It was, fuck, I'm never going to play again. And it was hugs of like, we still love you, man. You did great on your last game. That's what I saw at the end of the game. It was sad. And then it was Arteta going, hey, because Kai was like, thank you, and turned around and was like going to the locker room, and he was like, no.
Those of you watching, he says Kai because he can't say Havertz either.
Halverts. Kai, that was actually one of my really best friends in the world from El Paso. I always called her Kai. Her family called her Kai, but that's not her real name. And that's what I was actually wanted to name one of my kids. Never did it, but I love the name Kai. Yeah. But didn't know it was a German name.
So you just stay high instead.
Just stay high. Just stay high. Not on Fridays. Not at least until the post game. All right, guys. Well, it is about time for our international break. Not international break. Our bio break. I'm gonna run to Mexico real quick on my international break. We have
gone for 2 weeks.
I'm gonna go for 2 weeks. I'll be back. Mark has another round of trivia for us, so you guys can sit through just a few minutes of trivia while us old guys go run out to the toilet. If any of you all need a bio break, now's the time to do so. We will be back after the break with Betting in the Dark with Mr. Tom and our full Arsenal Wolves Stoop Derby beatdown coming up after the cat fight. All right. Thank you, John. Take us to bio. Yo. All right. Good trivia. Thank you, Mark. I just caught the end of that. Trying to get my speaker back on, but all right.
I
Did
got
you
the
guys
Scott
get
Parker one,
all of
but that was
those?
it. No,
What?
just Scott Parker.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Joe Mario.
Joe Mario, yeah. Good talent. Sorry, I'm trying to get my Bluetooth working again. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, all right, I'm ready for some betting in the dark with Mr. Tom. What do you guys think?
Yeah, consider it. Yeah.
All right,
Let's see what
let's
he's got
do
us
it.
this week.
Betting in the dark with Mr. Tom.
Come on, love, place your bets.
Cyril's back, everyone. It's National Romania Day as well, I believe. Let's go. As the Macronicle said, let's go. Oh, wait, are they both silent? Let's take advantage of this. Right, so I heard Ozark is good, but I've not watched it. So I'm going with Arsenal to win 2-1. Gabriel Martinelli score first, and then Havertz to will it be 3-3 if he does net? I'm so sorry, Mark. I'm so sorry. But
I think you're muted, Mark.
is that Georgie Haji in the photo? I believe.
Yes, it is, because he's
Excellent.
Romanian.
What a player! What a player! What a player he was, as they say. He was very good. He was very good. In all seriousness, he was very good. To be fair, I do think it'll be a tight game, just based off of Wolves' predilection for placing defence of first. I think that's fair to say. But now that you've brought up the refereeing issue, I'm thinking it might be 3-1. No, I don't know. In all truth, I have no idea. But obviously, I don't think it's unreasonable of me to suggest that Arsenal will win this based on the fact that they are the #1 ranked team in the Premier League. And Wolves have a bigger war on their hands, the war with the officials. So,
Yep.
Even I can't deny it now.
I actually would like you to add to that. What would the odds look like if there was a red card on Totti and a yellow card on Ait Niori? Because I feel it so strong in my heart that those two things are going to happen in this match.
Wolves have a player called Totti, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Totti Gomes.
Okay. Well, if you're happy to give me a second, I can work that out for you live on the stoop. Yeah, is that a thing? Is that a thing? Is that a way to say it?
I see his wheels turning.
I think it is a thing.
Is Lolo
Wolves,
muted?
Forest Derby. No.
So we go
Just got nothing to
2-1.
say.
He's just speechless.
2-1.
I'm just saving all my Arsenal Wolves stuff for next.
What's his name? Kai's anytime. And then the bookings. Let's have a look. Player shown a card. So to get booked, Ait Niori, and you want someone to actually be sent off.
Ait Niori a yellow and Totti a red.
Okay. I don't think they offer
Not this season,
specifically
Chris.
players
Not
to
this
be
season.
redded. You can bet on there being a red, but you can't actually do specific players to get a red. But so we will do. Excuse me. I'm sorry, everyone. So we'll go again. Players shown a card. What did you say his first name is?
Totti
Gomes.
Oh, okay, found him. Basically, that all what Mark just said combined will pay you 599.82 to 1.
So basically, those two things basically doubles the bet.
Yes.
Book it, people. Book it.
And that don't include a red. That just means that it'll get booked.
Gotcha.
Whether it's yellow or red.
Whether it's yellow or red. Sure.
Yeah.
Book it, people.
Yeah. So, yeah. Nearly 600 of your pounds. But, yeah. So, obviously, they're going to discuss this in more detail. But if it did come off and Mark did happen to produce this, I assume Mark Dice Clay would be back out in force.
Yeah.
Do we have a fuzzy picture of that? Do we have a fuzzy picture of the 100 there? I'm sure we do somewhere.
I'm sure John will find it somewhere. He's already, I see his wheels turning. All right.
For sure.
Let's see
What
the
do you got
next
next,
one.
Chris. What are the odds if we have Mark crying? All right, okay. So we're going to do another high-scoring game. Eagle Eyes may notice that the payout is the same as the previous one, minus I think it's 1 penny more for some reason. But Newcastle 3-2. He's shot to score first.
There he is.
Oh,
very blurry.
Money. That just screamed 100 there. And then Rashford to score at any point in the game. Yeah. And
I like this bet. It's at Newcastle.
Yep.
I like this bet. Was anybody surprised that Rashford didn't play on Tuesday? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
I played Wednesday.
I'm not sure which. But they ended up drawing, but I was really surprised Rashford didn't start.
They should have won simply because the goalkeeper handed it to Galatasaray. He got beat by 2 free kicks, and the first one was bad, but the first one was actually worthy of dropping him from a tall building, let alone the team. It was amateurish at best. From Onana.
All right.
So, yeah. Yep.
I can take that. I'll take that bet. All right, let's go to our next one.
The final one. I'm going big. Okay, we're gonna go 4-2. Erling's gonna get 3 of them. Son's gonna get one of the constellations. Get yourself 256.
I think this will be a big score. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Spurs are gonna find a way. They're gonna find a way to win this game. They actually do play Man City pretty well.
Yeah, that's gonna end at some point, and that'll end on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, they're lacking a lot of their firepower, and they're playing stupid football. Ange is getting a lot of credit for playing balls to the wall. But it reminds me a lot of the Bielsa days where it's like big risk, big reward. And when it's working, it's working. And, but when it's not, it is not. And you cannot do that. I think they played without an actual center back, an out and out center back. They played without one last match.
Well, they didn't have much of a choice.
They had Eric Dyer on the bench.
Look, yeah. Ooh, big threat there.
I'm
gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. It's say what you will about Spurs. Really, what it comes down to, they're a very good team. And last week they played Villa, and the scoreline doesn't really show it, but Spurs had no less than 3 come off the hardware, come off the post, come off the crossbar.
Son had a hat trick of offside goals.
Not saying that also offsides. And given how injured that team is and the suspensions that they've been facing, the fact that they were kind of in it, I think speaks a lot about what Ange is doing for Spurs. I really do. And I think come January, when they become a little more healthier, when Vandevar comes back. You get Solomon coming back. This, these guys are going to make some noise as long as they can stay close up until that point.
This could be the noise of Haaland wheeling away after he scored another goal. But no, in all seriousness, right, I actually think there was no excuse for Son having 3 disallowed goals on Sunday, because he had 2 days to watch Patrick Bamford's performance on the Friday night and learn how to stay onside, and he did not do that. So,
yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, and you know what they call an offside goal or an offside hat trick of goals?
Excuse me. Sorry.
No goals. So
no. I get that, but I also think, Lolo, that you have said in the past that you would take that. That means my striker. That means my front line is being active.
The offside, yeah.
It's like, you know what? I'll take the offside because that tells me they're doing something.
They're making runs. They're doing all that, and look, and Mark, you bring up a good point. Saying that, absolutely. And if I was, what it showed was they do have a lack of playmakers right now with Madison being the key there that's being gone, but also a solid defense that frees up the likes of Kulishevsky, Udogi, Sarr, all their midfields. And so it was Son just trying to make something happen. And you're right. To me, I'd prefer to see offside after offside after offside, as opposed to nobody's making a run. Nobody's making a move. So, and
that's
fair,
somebody
like two out of the 3 were tight. We're so tight. We're so tight offside.
For sure.
They were offside, but they were so tight. So, yeah,
we don't talk about Spurs a lot. A lot of people are talking about Spurs. The one player that I don't think gets mentioned a lot is Kulishevsky. He's been amazing since
Spurs
these injuries.
fans would not agree with you. Spurs
I know.
I've been listening to them.
Oh my goodness, he's been good.
They're saying how
he's
he was
been
their
putting
worst
in the
player.
service. He
was their worst player last week. I thought he was great last week.
I thought he was very good, very sharp. And you know what? Those goals go in. Those goals aren't offsides. He has like 4 assists.
Chris, thank you.
Phenomenal.
I did forget that for a minute, Chris. Thank you. That makes a lot of sense now, reading that back. That Spurs fans are morons. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there's our betting in the dark. Remember, these are bets where we try to get the craziest, biggest number of payout, which means the bets are not great bets to take. But we're also only saying put $1 on it, put £1 on it. And who knows what could happen? You too could become a 100-aire. Like
next week.
I mean, Mark, have you saved it? Have you turned those hundreds into more hundreds?
I've come ridiculously close.
Which also means no.
Fuck all. I gotta say that, for those of you out there that don't know, those of us on the Stoop, we have our little our betting thread is living under a bridge, which is where we deserve to live after all the stupid bets that we've made. You come close, and that's about it. That is about
close
it.
Only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
And well, no.
I don't understand the rules of horseshoes. So.
Oh, is that an American game?
It must be. I have no
Basically,
idea.
You have 2 pits of dirt. Each one has a metal spike sticking out of it. You stand over by one. You take 2 horseshoes, one at a time, and you throw it, and you try to get it around the pole. Whoever gets closest gets a point. If you actually are touching it, it's called a leaner. you get more points. If you get a ringer, which goes around it, you get even more points. But closest one, so you throw, your opponent throws, you throw, your opponent throws. Closest one scores. So close counts in horseshoes. And also hand grenades, because you don't need to be exactly.
Yeah, it sounds like something that can be played anywhere, but
yeah,
I obviously haven't. So.
And there's, I mean, basically like bocce ball is
Well, not in your living
similar.
room.
Well,
You really
depends how
can't play
big
in
your
your living
room
room.
is.
Well, I guess.
You
but-
probably shouldn't.
And Bronco and VA, he nailed it right there. Honestly, you just throw horseshoes and drink. Yep. And it's a game where you're on this side, the other guys are on that side. So you throw them and they throw them back to you. So you don't need to move very much. You just need to move out of the way of a flying horseshoe if it comes at you.
So it's more advantageous if you're lazy to just not be good at it, because then you just throw them to each other. And not have to move.
Either way, even if you are good at it, you're really just throwing to each other anyway. So, yeah, it works. And in Mexico, we play Wachas, which is the same game, except there's a cup in the ground and you throw a washer. Just a metal ring.
I don't
because
know
you
what
were
that
using
is
them.
either.
You don't
Like
know what a
bocce
washer
ball.
is? Yeah, bocce ball, same game.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
Hey, pitching pennies.
Hey,
So join us next week where I learn more colloquialisms from the Americans.
and more colonial games that we've come up with, like Monopoly.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Mark, it's about time. We're running out of time. If we're going to talk Wolves Arsenal, we need to do it now.
What were you talking about for the first half hour? If you ain't talking about, if you haven't talked,
An hour of yelling at Mark and I yelling at each other.
All right.
If you missed it, play it and fast forward. It'll sound cooler.
Exactly. And just turn off the volume. Neither of us said anything. All right. So Wolves at the
Unless you want to talk about the Loki season finale, series finale.
I haven't seen
that.
it. I've been watching. You
gotta watch
Sopranos.
Loki.
I've been watching.
Gotta
Sopranos
watch Loki.
Right now.
Loki was amazing. Amazing.
I couldn't get into it, but let's go ahead and talk about Wolves going to London, going to play Arsenal. Arsenal in first place. Arsenal is a very, very good team. They are solid front to back. They will get you. The question is at what point will they get you? Are they gonna hang 5 on Wolves? Or are they gonna just slug it out until that final 10 minutes before stoppage time and score a goal like they did against Brentford? I'm not really sure. I don't think, unlike last season where you just knew that Arsenal was going to come out and crush you, this year they're a little more patient and they're a little more deliberate and they're a little more, they're a little more whatever.
Well, Mark, I think that has to do with you guys. I think that honestly that has to do with you guys.
Sure.
And what I'm curious to see is the way you guys are going to set up and play. Are you going to sit back or are you going to play more open? The weird thing about Wolves is I don't know what you guys actually do. Because looking at it, watching you guys play Fulham, you weren't sitting back. You were going for it. You were going forward, but you were very well balanced, to be honest. And then seeing the way that you played against Tottenham could have easily been up 3 goals on you guys very quickly in the game. And I think that's because you started open, you closed it down. Last 10 minutes. Open the floodgates. So
right,
it's going to be the way that you guys come out against us. We're going to want to score early, of course. We're going to want to go out there and impose ourselves. But if you're sitting back, then we need to immediately change our game plan. If you guys come at us and you want to make it a back and forth type thing, that was Lens's problem midweek. When we played them at home, they sat back and just didn't give up anything, and they we scored a goal and then they got one on the counter, and we just kind of were confused by what they were doing, but they were very compact. Then they come to the Emirates with a little bit of gusto behind them, and they're like, we're going to play them. And we're like, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
If you come right at us, I'm like, awesome, let's take that. I'm a little more concerned if you play us the way you played Tottenham, which besides that opening goal, opening 10 minutes, you guys were very compact and very hard to break down.
Yeah. I think we're in the point of the season where Wolves are no longer going to surprise people. VAR, poor decisions by the refs, apologies aside, we beat good teams. We beat City. We beat Tottenham. We drew against Newcastle. And I hate to tell you this, my friend Lolo, but you can't say that. You didn't beat.
Oh, we didn't.
And you didn't tie. That aside, so I do think we're competitive enough. The question becomes, who's built for the long haul? Because I do see a Brentford Arsenal type of game happening here, where the deciding goal is going to come late. I could see Arsenal being kind of held back from scoring early or scoring at all until the final 10 minutes. I can see Wolves catching Arsenal sleeping on a counter. Something to be said about Arsenal. They're very fast. They're a very fast team. Something to be said about Wolves. We're also pretty fast. We've got some speed, and we've got some players that can handle the ball at speed. Particularly up the middle, where you guys can do the very same thing on the wings. At least this is what I see. Unfortunately, I do think that when it's all said and done, this is going to be yet another match where the officials will play a part in the game. I can't help but to think that otherwise, because it has happened time and time and time again. Why wouldn't I? If I open the door and leaves blow in my house every single time, the next time I open the door, I'm expecting leaves to blow in. I know that's kind of a shitty analogy, but I think you see where I'm going with this.
No, it's a fine analogy. It's just a shitty fucking take, Mark. Like, come on, okay? You think that's going to happen? That's all well and good, but let's get rid of that saltiness and let's get rid of this and assume, we may be very much wrong in this assumption, but let's assume it's an evenly, let's say the ref has nothing to do with it. Let's say the ref has a great game or it's just an inconsequential game. Now I want to hear your actual take, because I feel like you're saying,
like you to,
oh, we're gonna lose, but it's gonna be because of VAR. Have some fucking balls, Mark, and tell me that you're gonna beat us.
But I can't, because each and every match this season has been influenced by the officials. Why would I think this is going to be any different?
Oh, Mark.
Why? Give me a reason why this is going to be different. Why? Please.
Because
I'm open for that.
Because it can be. So, Mark. So what are you saying? What are you saying? There's no reason to watch?
If you have a container of sugar,
there's no reason to watch?
That's been mixed with strawberries, and you dip your finger in 7 times and taste strawberries, you go in for an 8th and expect it to be different?
So you're not going to watch?
No, I'm definitely going to watch.
Why?
Why not? Because I love football.
Because you told me it's going to be influenced by the referees.
No,
so why the fuck watch?
I said that there's a part of me that believes that I have no choice.
So get rid of that for a second.
Believe it.
Get rid of that for a second. And tell me, without any of that, without Arsenal being awarded a penalty, how is the game going to go? How are you going to play? How are you?
So going to laugh at you in the chat when that happens. I just know it will. Okay, so I will do this. I will do this, all things aside. And it's so fucking hard for me to do because so many of these challenges and so many of these VAR and so many of these penalties have gone against us. I will try and put that all aside, and I will say this. When given a chance, we compete. When given a chance, we have the opportunity to take points away from people that are positioned toward the top. We took points from Tottenham. We took points from.
He must be correct because he's pointing a pen.
He's fucking what's his Bob Dole? He's Bob Dole this whole show. He's been waving that
Bob Dole coming at you like a bulldozer.
You give that pen as a prize.
Let's just hold on here. Oh, hold on here. So
I'll take the penis, my dear, for 500.
Oh, that's not what your mother said.
I'll take the rapist. So I'm gonna.
Japanese relations. Probably my favorite that he ever did was Jap anal relations. But seriously, folks, and we are going to be serious, and I'm going to be brief for just once.
This is the longest brief comment I've ever had.
No. It's going to be brief from here on out. I will say this. When we are allowed to play, we play well and we get results. So, can we get a point from Arsenal? Can we take out all three? Absolutely. Will we? And that was me being brief. Thank you very much, folks.
Yeah, but you fucking cut off the main part of it. Will we? Yeah, we want to know your answer for that. Come on.
I liked a comment from Lolo earlier before I was allowed onto the show. He made a sarcastic joke about Wolves getting a penalty and skying it over, to which the honest thought there in my head was, Lolo, Patrick Bamford doesn't play for Wolves, though.
Exactly. Look, there's a lot of things we do well, and you know, people are asking me, it's like, oh, are you happy with Gary O'Neill? Absolutely. The guy has done well. He presents really good game plans, and the team believes in what he's doing, and we compete. Do I expect us to compete against Arsenal? Yes. Do I expect to win? No. Could we win? Yes. Will we?
Okay, Mark. You know I've been an advocate for Wolves this season. I've said, I've stood by you in the chats. I've stood by you on social media. I've stood by you on the show and said, I understand Wolves. Nobody can really complain unless they're mentioning Wolves' atrocities as well.
Who you, Tammy Wynette? Stand by your man?
Stand by your wolf. But Mark, I don't want you to turn into this type of fan. He's taking notes. He's taking fucking notes. That's what the pen is for. The pen is mightier.
What kind of fan do you not want me to be?
This one of, are you looking forward to the game tomorrow? Yeah, but you know, we're going to lose it because the refs are going to give Arsenal some sort of penalty. Like if I have a conversation with somebody at a bar like that, I go, okay, cool. Peace. Because we can't talk football. We can't talk football because you're broken.
And neither can I, because the officials have fucked us time and time again.
So then what do we talk about? So then I'm not going to talk
that.
I love as soon as Mark pointed.
And if I'm feeling gun shy because of not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 or 7 different situations in 7 different games where we get fucked. If for you to say it's like, well, you can't really, you can't put a lot of thought in that stuff, man. Put that behind you and move on. You complain about one match over and over and over again.
Is that what I said, Mark? Did I say put it behind you? Did I say you can't talk about that?
Basically, what you're trying to do by saying that
I'll give you an example, Mark.
By saying that I am looking at the officials to interfere in this game,
Mark,
because they've interfered in the last 6 of 7 games. Yes, Mark, I can.
Did they interfere with you in the Tottenham game?
They tried.
Did they?
They tried.
Did they? And did it affect the outcome of the game?
They tried.
Did they?
No, it did not.
No.
So congratulations.
Did they? Did it affect you in the Man City game?
There's one. 6 yellow cards definitely affected us for future.
Were they
matches.
yellow cards?
We got 6 yellow cards.
Were they yellow cards?
We got 6.
Were they yellow cards? I don't care how many you got. If they're yellow cards, they're yellow cards.
It should matter.
If your team gets 6 yellow cards, your team fucked up and got 6 yellow cards.
You'll bitch about every fucking card you got against City, and it's the badge. But against me, it's like, well, did you deserve them? No, that's not fair.
No,
you
Mark.
Can't sit there and go, well, City gets all the calls, and City gets this, and City gets that. But when they play Wolves, well, did you deserve them? That's what you're doing.
I'm asking you the question. Were they legitimate yellow cards?
Month ago. I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the match.
Were they legitimate yellow cards, or were they wrong?
Anyone out there? I don't know. That was a month ago. I'm just saying. Do you not think
if my club gets 6 yellow cards, I'm going to remember that's the bullshit one? Like I just brought up today, the Tomiyasu one. That's a fucking bullshit yellow card. It shouldn't have gone to him. It should have gone to Kai Havertz.
Only gets they've only had 7 yellow cards all season. Of course you're going to remember them.
Mark.
It's like if you go on a date and you get one kiss from the pretty girl. Well, you're going to remember the one kiss. But if you're an old guy like me and you've had 10,000 kisses, you're not going to remember them all.
Have you had 10,000 kisses, Mark, at your age?
What about the 6 kisses that happened with one chick and you didn't deserve any single one of them? Do you remember those?
What the hell was this turned into?
Exactly. You'll remember those.
Look, again, were they all...
Mark,
I don't know.
This is all
we've
going
had
Mark,
damn near 50 yellow cards this season, and we're only in week 13.
And that means you're a bad club. That means you're a bad club. Unruly. You got to get your troops in order. This is what you were saying about Arteta. Look at all the red cards. Arteta doesn't know how to run his club. He's lost control. Look at all the red cards. Right? You remember that, right?
Are we still talking about football?
I'm trying to get back to just getting Mark to give me an actual prediction without all this belly aching about the potential red card that they're going to see and the potential penalty that's going to be gifted to Arsenal. All I want is Mark to say, listen, I think my club is doing X, Y, and Z very well. And I think we will come out against Arsenal with this and this and this. I think we can counteract their front 3 with these guys. But no, all I'm getting is fucking crying.
No, it's not crying. The fact remains is that the officials have played a role in a lot of our games. And so at this point, I don't know what to think. Yeah, you can throw up the top of the table and his really stupid fucking Jamaican. I don't even know what those colors are. I don't know. I don't even want to complain on that. Look, I got nothing here because I don't know what to expect. I don't. You
should know what to expect out of your team.
Because
I'm asking is that you focus on your team.
I just said that we're fast.
Focus on your team.
I said, said that our defense plays well and we do a lot of things well. But will the officials allow us to play? I don't know.
Oh my God.
Look, you want me to...
Do you understand that, Mark? Do you understand how that
yes,
sounds?
I do, but you don't. You don't. Because
Okay,
you
ask me.
You
Ask
haven't
me
had
then.
to experience it.
Ask me how the game is going to go.
Gee, Lolo, how's the game gonna go?
Well, we should beat the shit out of them, but you know how it goes. The referees are gonna find some way to give to fucking book one of our players and to give them a penalty and give them the game. And it's probably doesn't that sound like garbage?
Yes,
Doesn't that
because
sound like garbage?
you're top of
it
the
sounds
league. You're a top 6 club, and you're playing at home.
Okay, ask me how the Brentford Luton game is gonna go.
How is
How's
that
the
Brentford
Brentford and
Luton
Luton
game
Well,
gonna
go?
go?
Luton are going to play a really great game and they're going to keep it tight. But at the end, I'm sure that VAR is going to give Brentford a goal because fucking VAR hates Luton and VAR wants Luton to go down. Doesn't that sound like shitty analysis, Mark?
Can you give me
Doesn't
an
it
example?
sound like
You
can
made
you
the
give me an
analysis.
example?
Give me the example.
You give me an
the
example.
Man United.
I don't remember.
Luton, Newcastle, Sheffield United, Fulham. I've just given you 5 examples of why I think the officials will play a part in this match.
Okay,
That's
against
5.
Fulham,
Give
two
me
penalties.
something. Give me
Fulham-
something.
Fulham, you got 2 penalties, right?
Yeah.
And they're both penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There's a potential
And-
for a
and-
second
and-
yellow on 2
And
players.
you even said it was a bullshit call.
And that's not me. I mean that's not a referee.
It is
that's
you.
me.
It is you.
That's me.
I can pull it up.
I'm saying that's me. I'm not a referee. But when we're looking at missed blown calls and poor decisions, those 2 Fulham penalties are not on there. What they're actually talking about,
How can you not? When you've said in the chat that
'Cause
that's
that's
not
me.
a penalty.
because that's me watching it, I'm saying actual people who are talking about decisions that were made and that were wrong and that were need to be rectified, those 2 are not on there. Wolves have 2 or 3 other ones that are on there. I'm just saying, like, I just want you to talk about football.
I would love to.
But
I
you
would
won't.
love to. But
But you
officiating and poor officiating and VAR has ruined the season for me.
So
I
we
can't.
won't. So we won't do
because
a preview.
it's just been there.
So we won't do a preview. So I'm going to give you my preview. I think it's going to be a tight match, and I think Wolves are going to sit back, and we're going to have to break them down, which we have a hard time doing. I think Arsenal will have at least 4 more corners than Wolverhampton. And I think in the end, they're going to have a good number of breaks, and Wang is going to get a couple of shots on target. But Raya will be back in goal. And I think he's got something to prove on his own end. And I think we find a way to break through towards the end, about the 70th minute or so. And we get a goal, which spurs Wolves on to try and get something out. All of a sudden, the game opens up. We get a second goal. And then I think that they get a consolation goal late in the game. And I do think it ends 2-1. I'm not sure if Wang gets that one or Cunha or maybe even somebody else because it's later in the game. So that's my analysis. That's my prediction.
So my analysis is that both teams are going to kick the ball, and there's going to be some headers involved. Someone might blow the whistle, and the Arsenal fans are gonna chant, and Gary O'Neill might raise his arms above his head.
Final score?
No. Look, here's the deal, man. Arsenal is definitely a class above a lot of teams in the league.
I'm listening to you. I need to grab another beer, though.
Arsenal has had trouble against some clubs, especially coming off of a Champions League match, which they are. a lot of players that played in that match against Lens. I expect them to play against Wolves. Wolves are no pushovers. And I do think that they can hold tough. I don't think this is the Wolves team that Gary O'Neill took over when he started. I do think that we can give Arsenal a run for their money, but when it's all said and done, I think that Arsenal is going to pull it out. I'm gonna go with Lolo with what he said. I'm gonna say that it's gonna be 2-1 Arsenal. If I want to go back to the to the guy that's very angry at the refs and the PGMOL, I will say that one of the goals. Actually, no. I'm gonna go. The deciding goal will be a penalty, and it will be Gabriel Jesus that draws it. There you have it.
Hi, Scooby. Okay, well, good. At least we're in agreement on 2-1, which means 2-1 will definitely not be the score. Anytime Mark and I actually agree on one, it never rings true. Okay, Tom, I would like you to tell me what you think this game would be.
Out of respect to Wolves this season, from when they have had things go their way, they say, they look more competent than last season, to be fair to them. I think, to be fair, if it's going to be closer to what my bet in the dark is, I think it's going to be very tight. I think Arsenal, obviously, it's not insult. I don't think it's insulting to Mark or Wolves to obviously say Arsenal are clearly the better team. They should be. I think their quality will show over the course of 90 minutes. I'm going to talk about. I'm talking about this, providing that the VAR is not an issue, etc. I think Arsenal irrelevant. I'm talking about in a world where VAR don't exist because I can't predict the future, and but generally I think it will be a tight game, and I think Arsenal will edge it. I don't think it'll ruin Wolves this season if that's the case, because let's be fair, a lot of teams that Wolves will be more worried about will also probably lose to Arsenal. So
yeah, my biggest concern is that when Man City were first placed, Wolves beat them. When Tottenham were first placed, Wolves beat them. Now we just happen to sit top of the table by 1 point, and we're playing Wolves. It's a bad time to play Wolves. Wolves play up. They don't necessarily play down to other teams. It's just much more of a slugfest there. They have a very smart leader in their manager, and they have a team full of very good players, a few very good players, and lots of speed. So if Arsenal play their game and go in and don't get rattled, and try to get into running matches with Wolves, I think we can get away. We should be able to get away with a win. But Wolves have done this to Man City. Slept on Wolves for a half, and Wolves did the business. Spurs slept on Wolves after they scored that goal, and they got the game handed to them. So Arsenal we got to be in it for a full 90. So yeah. Oh, yeah. And Wolves that was at Molyneux. You beat Man City. Sorry, I'm reading McChronicle's comment. You beat City and Spurs at home?
This is what kills me. We beat them. Isn't that enough? Well, you beat them at home.
It's just something to take into account.
When you beat the best team.
It's just something to take into account, Mark.
But I really feel it cheapens it. Isn't it good enough that we beat them? There has to be
I don't think
I don't agree.
It's like when you're on the pool table and you beat somebody.
This comment is a bit more.
Well,
Yeah.
You
It's
didn't.
relevant
I'd
to the
I'd
fact
be
that
more,
you are
I'd
on
be
the
more
road
upset
tomorrow.
about this comment, Mark, than the home. Because home and away form, especially when you have a stadium like Molyneux, where you want to make it a fortress. Everybody wants to make their home a fortress. So,
Okay. So
but no, we get that every year.
McChronicle, you say, okay, well, Wolves beat them without Rodri. So did Arsenal.
Absolutely.
So did Arsenal.
Yeah.
And let's throw in Kevin De Bruyne while we're at it. You know, I mean, it should just stand on its own merit that this team beat this team.
Our Leeds beat 20 players.
We beat City despite 6 yellow cards. We beat City and we beat them fair. We beat them fair. And you know what? I just hope that we get a match like we got against City, like we got against Tottenham. I want a match like where the officials don't play a role in tomorrow's game. That's what I want. And so be it after that. Yeah. Yellow card all the way, whatever. Ho, ho, ho. But that's what I want. I don't want to see.
6.
I don't want to see.
I don't know if he called
penalty.
you Santa Claus or 3 prostitutes by saying ho, ho, ho.
Y'all a bunch of hoes out there. I don't want to see.
One was
Arsenal
either kind of
get
nice
a penalty to decide it. I don't want yellow cards. I don't want red cards. I want 2 teams who are good, and I want to see a good match. That's really what I want. But unfortunately, history has shown me the Wolves don't get that.
Unless you're playing the top team in the land.
I'll tell you what I want. I want Jorginho Rutter to fuck Middlesbrough up tomorrow. That's what I want.
Fair.
Yeah, me too. Me too, Tom. That's what I want. What time do they play?
It's, well, in the UK, it's 3 p.m. So I think that is
Thursday.
It's about
midday where you're. He's also fantastic
like
in the Christmas advert on Leeds YouTube, where I believe they imply that he's an employee in the club shop, which amused me. Either that or he hangs around in it. I didn't watch it properly. I was stuffing my face in a buffet. But he's hanging around with Archie Gray in the club shop, as you usually do. So
isn't Archie Gray like 15?
Maybe they should check Rutter's computer. I don't know.
Yeah, like, dude, leave him alone on his off time. Let him hang out in the shop. Anyway, what a good note to end on. This has been more than fun, Mark. And Tom, thank you for just sitting there and taking it.
That's what she said.
Unfortunately, the last thing she ever said. But Jesus Christ, what are we looking at? Leeds hanging in there, doing well.
We are doing well. It's just a shame that Ipswich are doing really well.
Well, we all know that, fortunes can turn. I mean, Leicester was unbeaten, and they played you guys, and they've kind of not been so great.
Yeah.
And they play West Brom tomorrow, right? So, do you want them to win?
Yeah, I suppose I'd rather take Ipswich losing than Leicester because we only need to catch one of them. So
you'd rather West Brom lose to
sneaking
Leicester.
up. Yeah.
So
I know that sounds really silly, but my logic is, again, Leicester can win as many as they win, but if we don't catch Ipswich, it's irrelevant. So
yeah. Well, all right, guys. If you're around Sunday, don't forget to check out Mr. Tom, 9 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. What does that say? 3 p.m., 4 p.m. our time. Are we on a different time thing right now? What time is it, Mr. Tom?
It's currently 2 a.m.
Oh, so we're back on normal time. So that should be 3 p.m. Eastern.
No, I'm not sure about that.
because it's 9. Oh no, 5 hours. Sorry, I was
it should be
stuck in
2?
Spain time.
It should be 2 p.m. Oh
No,
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 I
no,
think
no,
last
no.
week
Yeah,
you switched
when
the
with
hours
the
around.
time change that we don't do at the same time and all
And
that.
I think, but they switched their time. Ben had to do something, so he wanted it earlier, and I just never updated the whatchamacallit, the graphic.
It's all right.
So
The
Speaking of
13
which,
people
we
watching
haven't
right
seen
now
Ben
know
for a
it.
while. Is he good? Is Ben good?
Yeah, he's as far as I'm aware, he's just fine. He got a employment opportunity, to my knowledge, and it's
Nice.
taking up his time.
oh, so maybe now you guys can pay me then.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that in the Ben account department though. The big
Nope.
bucks that I keep referencing for John. I'm just hoping that someone else actually pays him.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Mark, don't go anywhere. Where are you going? You're leaving.
I'm sitting like about a foot and a half away from a very potent radiator, and I'm starting to
Your balls are
roast. So
sweating?
I just wanted to. If these are my balls, yeah, I'm fucking sweating. So
right, guys.
I wanted to open the window a little bit. So there you
Well,
have it.
thank you.
Chat.
Thank you all for joining us today. We really had a good time. Me and Mark getting to just yell at each other for a couple hours. We always miss that. We will be back next week with more happy hour action, and maybe we'll be back throughout the week with a little bit more content for you guys. We'll see what we can do. But Mr. Tom, thank you for joining us. Mark, thank you for joining me. And Director John, much love to you. Thank you for helping us out tonight. And we love all you guys in the comments section. We will see you next week. Peace out, y'all.